Who is in charge? Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Who's at the wheel of the ship is drifting, but the captain's at a party. Pretoria, answer the call. Like it gone to sleep, Adam Godney stand tall. In the harbor of Durban, the seal ships ride. The ANC plays a game of seek and hide. They call for the exercise in like the east wind, and point a paging and say they're the ones who sin. Turban was on the nest, I guess at the gate. Now they say who invited them, it must have been fake. Confusion in the Union building, shadows on the wall. Now the truth gets buried in the marble hall. Who is running the land? Tell me, who's in command? Is it the suit in the office or the gun in hand? Oh, that from the Congo to the Pretoria street, the drums of the rock start to skip a beat. No boots for the boys, no armor for the chest, but millions for the channel of the boat take a rest. And she speaks of an inquiry, a code to be won, but the days turn to weeks and the paper is torn. No answers coming down as the heavy silence, while the heroes in the bush face no rebel violence. Sent to the jungle with no wings in the sky, only 3 helicopters, how can they fly? No medevac coming when they let us to rain. Chased by the rebels, oh the pride and the pain. No uniform, no boot, no boots, oh wait, look at the budget for the big salute. P7, 2 million for retirement spree. Modern Navy is sinking beneath the sea. Not a submarine moving, not a sailor in sight, but the body lights are burning to the Pretoria night. The chief of defense, he's a law to himself. Kept commander of the Navy, puts the stay on the self. Defying the podium, ignoring the sir, while the ghost of the fly starts to wake and to stir. And what's this whisper? What's this dark news? The chairman tried with murder, and he's the one they choose. Promoted to the side, for the dockets go forward. Is this the new story that's being told? Who is running the land? Tell me, who's in command? Is it Siren? Is it Angie? Does Ronnie understand? Oh, from the Crown Hope to the Pretoria street, the drums of the ropes are to skip a beat. No boost for the boys, no armor for the chest, but millions for the tenor on the moat. Take the rest. The generals are dancing, the politicians are glancing. The money is vanishing, and the soldiers are wandering. Who's the boss? Siren. Who's the boss? And King. The military's gone rogue in the sun. The parade has only just begun.
Stupid people should wear signs, neon bright, so we can find a way to dodge their tangled mess, avoid their chaos more, say less. Wear a sign, wear a sign. Save me from your twisted line. Wear a sign, wear a sign. Nada, nada, don't waste your time. Politicians dance and spin, blatant lies with a practiced grin. Blame the moon, blame the stars, blame the traffic or faulty cars. You think they're 6, not 35, playing games to stay alive. Wear a sign, wear a sign. Save me from your twisted line. Wear a sign, wear a sign.
expect Ofcom to take its next steps in games, not weeks. The government.
You're living in your fantasy.
Marvin Divine. I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming. It's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
Tuesday, February 17th, 2026. Welcome back, folks. Chris live in central Pennsylvania for your daily dose, your daily injection, your daily inoculation against misinformation, disinformation, hatred, extremism, ludicrous nonsense, and just plain old lies from legacy media, from politicians, and from social media commentators. Welcome back. It's always a pleasure to have you join me. Here we go. The commentators. Well, all right. There we go. Just checking the sound. So it looks pretty good. Well, let's get straight into the news here. South Africa's National Defense Force will deploy to the cities and towns of South Africa. Hang on a second here. What's going on? Is this important? I missed phone call. Quit calling me when I'm on the air. Oh, this is why my phone is on silent. Very rude and disrespectful. People who know I'm broadcasting call me while I'm on the air. Okay. Hang on a second here. A couple things. Yeah, anyway, so throw you off your mojo there. It might be important. You never know when someone's in trouble, so I have to look when it happens. Anyway, back to where I'm at. The South African National Defense Force will deploy to towns throughout South Africa in an effort to stop crime, in a clear admission by the administration of South Africa that its police are incompetent, incapable, corrupt, and not up to the task of stopping organized crime, which the political party has facilitated through its policies, its actions, and its system that's set up. Creating a system of black enrichment meant to divert contracts to friends and family through a patronage network, which enriched them at the expense of South Africans, South African taxpayers, and those who receive service in South Africa. This helped create a gangster state, which now they're trying to dismantle. Well, good luck with that. These people are entrenched. SANDF be deployed in Eastern Cape now to attack organized crime, says Kachela. Acting Police Minister Professor Firoz Chakela, who was supposed to be acting for a few months, and here he is a year later still acting, confirmed that the National Commissioner of the South African Police Service and the Chief of the South African National Defense Force have finalized a deployment plan set to begin within 10 days, which will now include the Eastern Cape, after people squealed. So that's the answer, folks. Squeal. If you're not getting services, just scream and cry. Oh, what about me? What about me? What about Alexandra? How about us? And then you'll get what you want. That's the lesson to be learned here. Scream loud enough. If your skin's dark enough, you'll get services from the government of South Africa. Speaking about the fight against corruption, violent crime, and organized crime during his State of the Nation address, the president recognized that the well-being and security of our people must be a core priority, upon which inclusive economic growth and proper function of democratic institutions depend. Wow. What an insightful. So you're telling me that Cyril Ramaphosa has recognized that in order to have economic growth, you must have safety and security? He's come to that realization 8 years after he became president? Wow. Maybe the next thing that will dawn on him is that you can only have economic growth when the people who build things and design things and come up with ideas and concepts and unique things, and then they build that. The only way you'll have growth is if those people are rewarded for their thoughts, for the intellectual property, for their labor, and they're rewarded by owning those things. No. We have to expropriation that compensation. So we'll just take that away from you. You don't need that. No, in a communist society, the government, full of incompetent retards, is who decides what your future is. Yeah. Yeah. Well, Oscar Mabuyane being called a fake diploma holder by members of parliament being chanted off stage. But Coachella says the deployment will include the Eastern Cape and will be in the next 10 days. Yeah, don't hold your breath on that. Boy, look at these scepters that they have, these symbols of European colonial power that the government of the ANC just loves to have. You see that? You see that? That protea and that other scepter over there. They love to wear those neck chains that are famous in the United Kingdom where they're full of pomp and circumstance. These colonial concepts. They just love colonialism, except when they don't. Well, Parliament's debating Ramaphosa's sad, pathetic, ridiculously long State of the Nation address in which he told one fairy tale after another. All eyes are turned to Parliament today, where lawmakers gather for a joint sitting of the National Assembly and the National Council of Provinces to debate President Ramaphosa's latest State of the Nation address. Proceedings started 4 hours ago. What do we get from it? Nothing useful. The State of the Nation address. Well, as I said, they're debating it this afternoon. Once again, there's those scepters that they love. Well, South Africa received 1 million doses of foot and mouth vaccines in a record import of vaccinations, says Minister John Steenhuisen. Now we get 1 million? Why didn't we get 1 million doses of vaccine in 2021? Or last year when the minister agreed to come on the program and discuss this issue in April and May before the disease spread all over the country? Where were the million doses then? Why does it take until now? 11/11, that's right. Why does it take until now to get 1 million doses? What's going on here? Why did it take so long? Was John busy with these creditors paying off his debt? Well, wait, he didn't pay off his debt. He had a judgment against him. Was he busy going to Vietnam and dancing? Or was he busy in Iran? Was he busy in China? What was he so busy doing that he couldn't get vaccine for a year and a half after he became minister? Minister of Agriculture John Steenhuisen announced that South Africa will receive a shipment of 1 million foot and mouth disease vaccines from Biogenesis Bago this Saturday. He said it will be the largest single import of vaccines to date and would bring much needed relief to the province's regions hardest hit by the outbreak. He made the announcement during a joint sitting of the National Assembly and the National Council of Provinces, where MPs debated Ramaphosa's State of the Nation. The debate continues tomorrow at 2 p.m., and the president expected to reply on Thursday at 2 p.m. Under the GNU, we've reached real, tangible progress, he says. He credited much of that progress to the DA's participation in government, citing its focus on reform, fiscal discipline, and pro-growth policies. Fiscal discipline. Neil, thank you for the 20 pounds. Oh, brother, thank you so much for that. That's a nice one. Stop. John Steenhuisen is citing fiscal discipline. John Steenhuisen, the man who can't pay his credit card bill, an $8,000 credit card bill. Oh, my God. You can't make this stuff up. You can't make this up. He has no credibility. He has no credibility. A 49-year-old man who has no assets, no bonds, no property, no mutual funds, no stocks, no house, no flat, no cars, no savings account. 49 years old. Has nothing. Making 2+ million rand per year in salary for decades. And he has nothing to show for it. But he's going to tell us about fiscal discipline. Okay, sure. Ladies and gentlemen, I announce forthwith that I have been selected as the Viceroy of Greenland. That's right. I am now the Viceroy of Greenland. And you will all listen to my words and you will heed them. You will do as I say as the Viceroy of Greenland. It is time to focus on my needs running Greenland. I mean, after all, John Steenhuisen lives in a fantasy world. Why can't I? Why can't I live in a fantasy world? It seems fair, does it not? I am the Viceroy of Greenland. That's right. The Viceroy of Greenland. Yeah, no, I mean, why not? John Steenhuisen lives in a fantasy world. Why can't we all live in a fantasy world? I mean, it works for him. Discipline, fiscal discipline. Seriously? Fiscal discipline. That's just... I don't know what to say, guys. I don't know what to say. It's just... It beggars the imagination. It beggars the imagination. Wow. That's just something else. So if John Steenhuisen is telling us about fiscal discipline in South Africa's government, then I am the Viceroy of Greenland.
Greenland. First came the Dorset, ghosts of the frost, o'er Baffin Bay where the sunlight is lost. They carved out a life on the edge of the world before the red banners of Vikings unfurled. Then Eric, the outcast with fire in his eye, fled Iceland's cold judgment for a new northern sky. 25 long ships set sail for the west, but the hammer of Neptune put them to the test.
The Viceroy of Greenland. If John Steenhuisen is telling us about fiscal discipline in the Government National Union, then I'm talking about the Viceroy of Greenland. Well, South Africa's unemployment rate apparently has gone down. Do you believe this, folks? Is this believable? South Africa's unemployment rate has declined. South Africa's unemployment rate has dropped by 0.5 percentage points in the final quarter last year to just 31.4%. However, the country has added 2.6 million people to the number of unemployed over the past 10 years, with shocking levels of youth unemployment persisting. According to Stats SA, this marks an increase of 44,000 people employed in the country, making a total of 17.1 million people working in South Africa. I don't believe that for a moment. Only about 6 million people, 4 million people pay taxes. There was a decrease of 172,000 unemployed, down from 7.8 million in the labor force. So you're going to tell me that a country of 63 million people only has a labor force of 23 million people. I don't buy that. Labor force should be half the population, especially a youthful population. But hey, they're just making this up too. So anyway, if that's the case, welcome back to the program. Here is the Viceroy of Greenland. We're all living in a fantasy world. Apparently, the Russian disinformation campaign is targeting the Democratic Alliance. No! So anytime somebody says something bad about Democratic Alliance, is it the Russians? The Russians are coming. Yes. Oh, yes, the Russians are behind it all. Leaked documents show Russian plans to target South Africa's Democratic... Why? Who has to target the DA? Honestly, come on, folks, tell me. Who has to target the DA? What do you have to do to target... In the last year, what do you have to do to target the DA? What? I mean, so they didn't fight, or they did fight NHI? They did fight the black tax? They did stop EWC? They did stop the Bella bill? John Steenhuisen did pay his credit card bill? How could you attack? Why would somebody orchestrate a campaign against a party that's collapsing? The DA. Why would anybody attack the DA? They've self-destructed. They're the ones that puncture their own tires. I think what the DA did is they were driving down the road and what's that? They pulled over and the front left tire had a puncture. And at a spite, they go, you know what? We don't have a spare, so let's put a hole in the other three. And they punched holes in the other three tires. The Russians are targeting the DA? That's comical. A newly published analysis by leaked Russian materials outlines a counter-campaign against the DA, part of much broader political influence efforts in Global South. The Global South. The analysis released over the weekend, alongside other claims by All Eyes on Wagner Project, says Russia's Foreign Intelligence Service is consolidating control over influence structures previously associated with the Wagner network. Separate reporting based on the same leaked material describes a planned operation involving racially charged mugs for DA leader John Steenhuisen's birthday, intended to reinforce perceptions of his organization as a white party. There's no evidence that they were linked, but we're going to run the story in the News 24. The researchers identified 11 recurring hashtags, including Dumb Alliance, Stop the DA, Doomsday for DA, used to frame the party negatively. The activity extended beyond social media. Posters linked to the now defunct website Dumb Alliance were placed in parts of Durban, and the network circulated short video clips and staged vox pop videos featuring purported disaffected DA supporters. The scale of the activity, with nearly 80,000 posts linked to key hashtags, suggests the level of coordination unlikely to be purely organic. Karen Allen, lead researcher of the 2024 ISS report, told News 24 that the research indicated inauthentic coordination during the SA election, but did not identify who was behind the campaigns. Of course, these are the same people in News 24 who tell lies about me, which I know to be lies. So how can you trust anything this newspaper writes? Why would the Russians waste their time with that? For Jacob Zuma? The target for the MK party is not the DA, it's the ANC. Silly, silly stuff. MK sounds a warning to Ramaphosa, and broken promises will cost the ANC at the polls. If only that were true. It's not. exasperation is what's costing them. They've not delivered for years. They've had broken promises for 34 years, and it's not cost them. Mkoltwe sees ways, I'm already a little toy soldier there, Commissar Scorpion, little retard. Des Van Royen says voters across provinces have asked the party to tell President Ramaphosa that because of his unfulfilled promises, they will ensure the ANC is severely punished in this year's local government elections. He made the remarks during a joint sitting of the National Assembly and the National Council of Provinces. Yeah, well, little pretend soldier there, Commissar Scorpion. What a clown. Not even a soldier. Dressing up, pretend to be a soldier. The MK party says it was not a State of the Nation address, it was a State of Intent address. Well, I agree with that, MK. He said the nation in crisis cannot be governed by intention, 100%. In 2018, the president began his tenure with the Tuma Mina slogan and introduced South Africans to the fake story of Tin Swallow. Under the slogan and story, we have had only promises. Remember that? We've had only promises. Remember the Tin Swallow garbage? This is how fake this guy has been as president for years. Then he goes to New York and lies to Bloomberg. There are no farm murders in South Africa. There are no farmers being murdered. No farmers been murdered in South Africa. No white farmers been murdered. That's almost a verbatim quote. This guy's been a huckster. He's been misleading people from the very beginning. How anybody fell for his shtick just kills me. Well, tragedy continues in the murder of the Nigerian student who wasn't kicked out of the country by Home Affairs. Have only they done their job and removed him from the country because he was working illegally as a student. No, they were busy raiding Woodmead on Geloftedag, on Unification Day, working on a holiday when no one works, especially not Home Affairs. Yes, that's right. Instead of removing this student who was masquerading as a student while attending school and working as a Bolt driver illegally, they run around and they kick the Kenyans out who had a legitimate legal request in for a visa, only to have it shipped to the South African High Commission in Kenya when they were residing in South Africa. Yes. Meanwhile, the misery continues. A woman targeted by the so-called smart alecks on social media who has nothing to do with the case. Joburg woman's online onslaught after being falsely accused of murder. Solange Williams faced widespread online threats after being falsely identified as a suspect in the murder of the Bolt driver Isaac Satlat. Social media users took it upon themselves to investigate and claim that Williams was linked to a crime after a viral video of Salat's death surfaced. The woman in the video, who was later arrested and identified as Dikeleke Mopela, appeared in the court. For several days, the 22-year-old Solange from Joburg was overwhelmed by the fear as she became the target of widespread hateful threats on social media, where she was falsely accused of being the person who murdered him. A video capturing... I thought it was a joke, but later when I saw that it was really serious, I became scared and traumatized. I had an interview because I was going to be working abroad, but the emotional state I was in, I had to postpone. Wow. Ordeal began last Friday when she noticed unusual activity on her social media accounts. Initially, she dismissed the comments as random trolling, but later realized the gravity of the situation and thousands of people began accusing her of involvement in the murder. And there'll be no consequences for these people with their threats. Nothing. They should all be horsewhipped. The Social Relief of Distress Grant is extended for another year with no end in sight. Welfare continues in the Socialist Republic of South Africa. Department of Social Development has confirmed the latest extension of the Social Relief Distress Grant until March of 2027. The grant, which is set to expire next month, has been extended for another year, and the beneficiaries will receive 370 Rand a month. Wow. A month. This thing was supposed to be for COVID, and here we are half a decade after COVID, and they're still paying people this money, taking it out of taxpayers' pockets. Oh, but it gets better. Cyril has promised yet another grant. A new social grant for South Africa is coming. This was originally $350, was increased to $370, an extra $1. Wow. 8 million South Africans come depend on it. And it's been extended on an annual basis. But a new grant is coming! On top of announcing an extension of the grant, Ramaphosa announced that it would be completely reworked into a new grant. Since it was introduced during the COVID scam, the Social Relief of Distress Grant has kept millions of South Africans out of food poverty. Really. So 370 Rand a month given only, almost exclusively to black South Africans has kept them from starving. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. This year, we will redesign the grant to more effectively support livelihoods, skills development, work opportunities, and productive activity. Really? More gobbledygook coming from the huckster in chief. Well, the Guguletu gold rush is on. The Zamazamas are flaunting their illegal activity in front of law enforcement. In the gangster state of South Africa, only criminals can get away with this brazen activity. Zama Zamas say they will not stop until government creates jobs. Government doesn't create jobs, you morons. That's part of the problem. Zama Zamas and Guguleto informal settlement residents continued processing gold despite warnings from Ekurhuleni. Illegal miners fled when officers arrived, but resumed operations immediately after they left. A local cattle farmer admitted charging miners to dig in her kraal, which has now been riddled with holes. Defiant Zama Zamas, joined by residents of Guguleto informal settlement on East Rand, continued processing gold in broad daylight, even after Ekurhuleni Metro Police Department officers ordered them to stop. On Tuesday morning, a contingent of officers descended on 2 cattle kraals and nearby mine dump where illegal mining activities were underway, ordering the miners and residents to stop their operations. As soon as the officers left, the illegal activities resumed. Zama Zamas fled when police arrived, while a few remained behind and continued processing gold in the presence of officers, right in front of them. We don't fear the police. We are unemployed and survive from illegal mining. EMPD officers are aware of what we're doing. They can't act as if they don't know. I recently started illegal mining. Yesterday, I made 2,500 Rand. Life is tough here. We're not going to stop until the government offers us jobs. We walk and live on top of gold. The soil is rich with gold. We don't dig deep to find the precious metal. Just a knee-deep hole can change your life. How are you going to address that? What can you do about that? Well, the Democratic Alliance continues to eviscerate itself from within, recruiting more ANC cadres to be DA members. Another defection to the DA from the ANC. ANC ward councillor defects the Democratic Alliance in George, triggering another by-election. The political contest in George municipality is intensified following the resignation of ANC ward councillor 25 Jacques Essau, who joined the DA. Essau served as councillor since 2017, cited the ANC's decline and governance failures as reasons for his defection. Patriotic Alliance leader Gate McKenzie recently declared the DA was an intensive care unit after his party won a ward in Georgia. Oh my, the political contest in the Georgia municipality is intensified after ANC ward council resigned and crossed the floor of the DA in the latest defection to shake local politics. The move has triggered another by-election. The DA controls George through a coalition with the Freedom Front Plus and the ACDP. In a statement, DA provincial leader Tertius Simmers welcomed Essau into the party, describing the decision as a broader trend of ANC members abandoning what he called a declining organization. His decision to leave follows a deepening decline within the ANC and its inability to govern effectively. He believes DA is the only credible vehicle to deliver clean governance, restore public trust, and accelerate service delivery. And it only took him 8 years to come to that conclusion. 8 years a cater, 8 years on counts, 8 years in the ANC, 8 years part of the failures of the ANC, and now these are rats deserting a sinking ship. And the irony is they're heading to a ship also taking on water. The DA has holes in the bow and stern, and it's also taking on water. The ANC's Titanic is sinking. The DA is going with it. Wow. Well, the 8-year driver license deadline is closing in quickly on Communist Transport Minister Barbara Creasy. She's got a month and a half yet to meet that target. Transport Department's 2025-26 annual performance plan says the decision to extend the validity period is targeted for submission to Parliament in the fourth quarter of the year, ending March 31st. So she still has time. After Reform wrote to the minister urging her to implement the decision, at least the minister could do is stick to her own department's planning. Interesting. Well, can she? Well, here's an op-ed. And it's funny because Business Tech, which is usually a reliable media outlet, writes a slavishly devoted piece in favor of the government and the fantasies that the government's perpetrating. The failed state reality check for South Africa. It sounds like it's going to tell you about a failed state, which South Africa is, but it's not. It's going to say it's not a failed state. The economic and political prospects of South Africa are turning a corner, pulling away from the path that many warned would lead to a failed state. Dude, they're already there. Following months of positive news, propaganda, and sentiment around South Africa, economists and analysts are leaning into forecasts that show the country on a much better path than a year ago. Wow, with 0.5% GDP growth, that's amazing. A stronger rand? No, it's not stronger. It's not gaining against the pound. It's not gaining against the yen. It's not gaining against the euro. It's only gaining against the dollar because Trump is making the dollar weak intentionally. Economic growth on an upward trajectory. Oh, so you've gone from 0 to 0.5% growth. Wow, that's amazing. Ratings upgrades. No. There's no ratings upgrades. You were still a junk bond status country. Removal from the Financial Action Task Force. That was a political gift. You didn't deserve it. You still have money laundering and terror financing going on in South Africa, unimpeded by the government. Lower interest rates, which is something in the government's control. They can lower interest rates at any time. It doesn't make the economy better. Wow. Just 2 years ago, the alarm bells were ringing. South Africa was becoming a failed state. It was already a failed state. Yeah, some even posit it was already there. It was already there. Do you live in South Africa, buddy? Do you live in South Africa? Turning the corner. According to symmetry analyst Isak Odendahl, there are clear signs that South Africa is turning a wide corner and steering away from talk of a failed state. Hang on a second. Come on. No, I guess not getting a response there. Okay. Anyway, that's just ridiculous. Well, in Malawi, a place that's devastated by illegal timber cutting that's damaged the Lake Nyasa immensely. Not Malawi, where people are stripping the environment of trees for charcoal because they have no fuel. Now they're smuggling it. Malawi suspects wanted for staging fake funeral procession to smuggle charcoal. Officials responded to a tip to intercept the mourners at a roadblock. At least 9 people are on the run after they were caught smuggling charcoal in a hearse, complete with fake funeral procession. Charcoal smuggling is common in Southern African country and one of the main reasons for rampant deforestation, though this method of transporting illicit goods was new. Forestry officers acting on a tip to intercept the funeral procession at a roadblock, a forestry official in Chikwawa, 40 kilometers south of Blantyre, told Reuters. Inside the hearse, they found an empty casket and about 30 large bags of charcoal packed underneath. Total value of 3 million kwacha, 27,000 rand. If found guilty, the suspects face up to 5 years in prison or fines. Wow. So there you go. Deforestation. Another reason why Africa's failing. There you go. That cyclone is still devastating. Cyclone Kisani has left 59 dead in Madagascar, 16,000 people displaced. At least 59 people, when Cyclone Kisani struck Madagascar last week, died. The cyclone displaced 16,420 people, while 15 remain missing. 804 were injured, and 423,000 classified as affected by the disaster. I guess it's good for South Africa that Madagascar and Mozambique are in the path of these cyclones to prevent South Africa from being the victim of many of these things. Nigeria says 100 U.S. troops have landed to help train their army. They're in advise and training capacity. Well, we've done that before. Major General Somalia Uba, spokesperson for the Nigerian Defense Headquarters, said in a statement posted by presidential spokesman Sunday Dar that the deployment was requested by Nigeria to the U.S. government for military training, technical support, and intelligence sharing. Uba said the troops are in Nigeria only to serve in advisory and training capacity and will not take part in combat operations. Suspected Islamist militants kill 7 Ghanaian traders in Burkina Faso. They're among 18 buying tomatoes when militants stormed the town of Titao. 7 Ghanaian tomato traders were killed when Islamist insurgents attacked the town of Titao in northern Burkina Faso over the weekend. Victims were among a group of 18 traders who entered to buy tomatoes when the militants stormed the town, separating men from women before opening fire. They went on a shooting spree, killing almost all the males, burning them together with the truck. Bodies were burnt beyond recognition. 3 men and 1 woman from the group survived with injuries. The remaining 7 women escaped unharmed. The minister said the dead were buried yesterday morning in Burkina Faso, with surviving female traders attending as witnesses. Ghanaian officials were unable to reach the site because of security concerns. Jeez. Well, the U.S. and Iran are making good progress in Geneva, according to the foreign minister. President Trump has called on Iran to reach an immediate accord, or else face the threat of possible U.S. attack. Indirect talks between Iranian and American officials in Switzerland ended today with an agreement on a set of guiding principles. Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi was as positive as he was vague, providing little clarity in what he discussed. He told the Iranian state television that the talks, which were held in Geneva and lasted for 3 hours, were more constructive and made more progress than the previous round in Oman earlier this month. Well, good luck with that. I don't think Iran is going to be able to come to an agreement that the U.S. will accept. And if Trump does accept anything less than nuclear disarmament, people are going to be pissed. Ukraine's time is running out. Ukraine must reach a deal with Russia fast, Trump says, ahead of the Geneva peace talks. They met with Ukrainians and the Iranians today. Busy day for U.S. foreign policy. Delegations from the nations will meet in the Swiss city for the third round of talks. Well, they did. U.S. President Donald Trump said yesterday that Kiev needs to reach a deal with Russia. Ukraine better come to the table fast. That's all I'm telling you. American, Ukrainian, Russian delegations are meeting today for trilateral talks. Question of territory remains the most vexing issue in the negotiation, with Russia demanding that Ukraine accept territorial losses. Russian forces currently control about 20% of Ukraine's pre-2014 territory. Of course, a big chunk of that is Crimea, so isn't much more than Crimea they control. Spain will investigate social media companies as part of its fascist effort to undermine Europe. Spain, which was once the home of Muslims who invaded Europe and sought to Islamicize the entire continent and subjugate Christians to Islamist fascism centuries ago, it was the bulwark of Islam in Europe, in Western Europe, while in the Balkans was the Eastern European foothold of Islamization of Europe. The Spanish, who lived under the boot of Islamist fascists for decades, have now given 500,000 illegals the right to stay there, and now they want to censor speech. The government wants prosecutors to investigate X, Meta, and TikTok, adding to a growing clash between the U.S. and Europe over regulating social media. Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez of Spain said today that his government will ask prosecutors to investigate social media giants X, Meta, and TikTok for allegedly spreading child sex abuse material generated by artificial intelligence. Those platforms are undermining the mental health, dignity, and rights of our children. No, the people using them are perverts from your country are doing it. Why don't you prosecute them? 6 companies registered under the name of the former British Duchess will shut down amid Epstein's storm. 6 companies linked to Sarah Ferguson, the ex-wife of Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, are to be shut down after the latest release of files related to Jeffrey Epstein revealed the depth of her friendship with the late sex offender. Boy, Jeffrey Epstein is taking down so many people. Ferguson is listed as the sole director of all the companies, all of which applied in recent days to be struck off UK's official Companies House register, where virtually all businesses must file information such as directors' details. It's not clear exactly what services companies provided. One firm was involved in public relations and communications. The move comes after the U.S. Department just released a fresh tranche of so-called Epstein files on January 30th. The documents appear to show that not only did Epstein maintain contact, but she visited him in Miami 5 days after he was released from prison in 2009, having served 13 months of an 18-month sentence for soliciting prostitution from a minor. Other exchanges demonstrate her strong affection toward Epstein at the time. In January 2010, she wrote, "You're a legend. I really don't have the words to describe my love, gratitude for your generosity and kindness. I'm at your service. Just marry me." Wow. Then, the year before, she thanked him for being the brother I have always wished for. What kind of pervert is Sarah Ferguson? Mountbatten Windsor and Ferguson's daughters, Princesses Beatrice and Eugenia, have also faced scrutiny in recent weeks over their names featured in the latest tranche of files. Wow. Days after the January release, Ferguson's charitable foundation, Sarah's Trust, announced it would close for a foreseeable future. On February 13th, a company called S Phoenix Events Limited, where Ferguson's listed director, filed for an application at the Companies House to strike the company off the register. The other 5 companies filed similar applications on February 16th. The companies that are set to close are Philanthropiter Limited, Fergie's Farm Limited, La Luna Investments Limited, Solo Moon Limited, Planet Partners Productions Limited, and S Phoenix Events Limited. According to UK government, business can be removed from the Companies House only if they've not traded in the last 3 months, among other conditions. Ooh, wow. Sweden tightens up citizenship rules amid illegal immigration crackdown. Wow, the Swedes, after they've let their country be turned into a rape capital of Europe, finally wake up to what's been happening to the Swedes. Scandinavian countries made further moves to alter its once liberal immigration policies following concerns about crime rates and social tensions, about racial hatred against Swedes by the immigrants. Sweden's government has announced plans to further tighten the process for claiming asylum following years of concern. They once regarded as ultra-liberal immigration will introduce more stringent citizenship rules, which applicants facing increased weight before they can apply a minimum wage threshold and a new test they must pass. Applicants for citizenship will have to live in the country for 8 years, up from 5 years, receive a monthly income of more than 20,000 Swedish crowns, and pass the Swedish language and culture test. It seems reasonable that you should know whether Sweden is a monarchy or a republic if you want to be a citizen. I think so too. Those with criminal records, either Sweden or abroad, will have to wait longer before they can apply. 15 years. New rules for asylum claimants. Soaring immigration has caused public reaction in Sweden with a surge at the polls for parties pledged to be tougher on those entering illegally. But Donald Trump is evil. Gang crime surging. Yep. A study published by Lund University in 2025 widely discussed in media detailed the overrepresentation of foreign-born men among rapists in Sweden. Since the 1990s, Sweden's population increased to 10 million from 8 million, primarily because immigration from conflict-affected regions in the Horn of Africa and the Middle East. This population surge led to problems with soaring welfare spending, increased crime, social and cultural tensions between Swedes and immigrants and among various immigrant populations, not to mention a rapid rise in the number of Swedish women being raped. It's a major concern for us that we're seeing quite a few cases of people that have committed crimes, Afghan people that committed crimes in Sweden, and it is more or less impossible to expel them. Yeah. Well, 40 years too late, Sweden. You're gone. The Reverend Jesse Jackson has passed away at the age of 84. I don't have much positive to say about him, so I'll confine my comments briefly. Jesse Jackson, charismatic champion of civil rights, dies at 84. An impassioned orator, he was a moral and political force, forming a rainbow coalition of poor and working-class people and seeking the presidency. His mission, he said, was to transform the mind of America. And I will keep my comments for the moment in the passing of Jesse Jackson limited to disputing the lies that the New York Times puts there. A moral force. No, the man was far from moral. He was immoral in many, many respects. He was a race hustler, and he was a hustler of many sorts, and I'll leave it at that. I won't speak any more ill of Jesse Jackson. We'll save that for a later time after his burial. U.S. Coast Guard has seized $133.5 million of illicit drugs. Operation Pacific Viper, launched in August last year, directs U.S. forces in the Eastern Pacific region to counter cartels and criminal groups. 80% of interdictions of U.S.-bound drugs occur at sea. This underscores the importance of maritime interdiction. In total, 17,700 pounds of cocaine were seized for the interdiction of 4 drug-transporting vessels in international waters. One of the vessels was boarded by Seneca's crew on January 25th, seizing 4,400 pounds of cocaine. Insane. Insane. I'm extremely proud of crew's incredible performance and adaptability during this deployment, said Captain Lee Jones, commanding officer of the Coast Guard cutter Seneca. In early December, the U.S. Coast Guard sent a statement that seized more than 150,000 pounds of cocaine from the Eastern Pacific region, which it said was enough to create more than 57 million potentially lethal doses. Wow. Busy stuff. Well, Hillary Clinton, bumhurt that she had to appear before Congress to testify, is now spreading nonsense. What's new? She accused the Trump administration of a cover-up over its handling of Epstein documents. Why? 3 million documents are enough for you there, sweetheart? Former U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton has accused the Trump administration of a continuing cover-up in the way it has handled the release of millions of documents related to Epstein. They're slow-walking it. They're redacting the names of men who are in it. They're stonewalling legitimate requests from members of Congress. No, they're not slow-walking anything. The Biden administration had exactly 0 releases. The Trump administration has had 6 releases of Epstein documents. Of course they're redacting things. You can't reveal source and methods or victims. Dumb woman. Dumb woman. Warner Brothers Discovery, this bid still going on. Warner Brothers Discovery backs Netflix merger while reopening Paramount talks. Warner Brothers Discovery wants to hear Paramount's best and final proposal for the media company and is opening a brief window for discussions about a bid while also moving forward with this Netflix merger and urging shareholders to reject Paramount's current hostile bid. If it sounds convoluted, that's because it is. Warner Brothers Discovery, or WBD for short, is worth tens of billions of dollars. The company's board is trying to ensure it squeezes every possible billion out of its suitors. So it's reopening talks with Paramount in pursuit of a higher price, recognizing Netflix can and likely will match the price. They're just trying to drive the price up and cheat shareholders. Yep. Anyway. All it means is more consolidation and more cost. So I have to pay Paramount Plus $13 a month to watch rugby, but I get to watch their vast network of programs, which is pretty impressive. But then I'm also subjected to commercials. What the hell? What's the point of paying for streaming when you're getting commercial? Such a ripoff. As the federal government surge draws down Minneapolis, Muslims community is hopeful that Ramadan will inspire its road to recovery. Why does Minneapolis have a Muslim community? It's settled by Native Americans, Norwegians, Swedes, Germans, yet has a Muslim population. How do we allow this to happen? There's a sense of urgency in Basim Sabri's voice as he stands in the middle of a banquet hall at his mall in the heart of Minneapolis, directing the flow of busy volunteers and jovially asking his cooks to be patient as he finishes his call with CNN. Sabri's urgency is understandable, perhaps even necessary. The Islamic holy month of Ramadan is right around the corner, and he's determined to maintain the annual tradition of hosting a Ramadan feast for the Twin Cities. Annual tradition? When did this start? 2 decades ago. I'm not just a landlord. I'm a very involved person within the community. I see the fear, the depression with many tenants, and the anger that this is happening to them. Well, it's not happening to them. If they're residents, it's not happening to them. In the aftermath of Operation Metro, a surge launched by the Trump administration in December with the ostensible purpose of apprehending and deporting undocumented immigrants. Those are criminals, and they're not immigrants. They're alien invaders. The mere notion of congregating is putting a lot of Muslims in Twin Cities on edge. Why would Muslims be on edge? Are you a legal resident of this country? Are you not a criminal? Are you a citizen? Then what do you fear? Stupid people should wear signs. Well, more fantastic stories from the New York Slimes using so-called veterans, or maybe they are veterans, to propagate the lies about America. This is what John Kerry did after Vietnam. Veterans have taken part in demonstrations against the federal crackdowns on illegal immigration in Minnesota. I haven't. Tom Kendall served in the Air Force. Okay. Tom Kendall, 78, usually can spot a fellow veteran outside the Whipple building in Minneapolis where he stood in his gray park keeping tabs on federal immigration agents' vehicles for 6 weeks. Why is he keeping tabs on vehicles? Oh, there's nothing nefarious there. Just a veteran. Some wear military insignia on their hats, identifying themselves as veterans of wars in Korea, Vietnam, Iraq, or Afghanistan. Others are people he has slowly gotten to know over the conversations in the bitter cold that demonstrate together in opposition to the immigration crackdown. In the Twin Cities, veterans of the U.S. military have been among those in the front lines to protest the Trump administration's immigration enforcement operation. It's not immigration enforcement, it's criminal eviction. Veterans make up 6% of the U.S. adult population, are often visible at protests around the country. They bring a unique perspective to the conflict between members of the American public and immigration agents. Do they really? While many veterans favor a crackdown on illegal immigration, and some have even gone to work as federal immigration agents, veterans who have been protesting in Minneapolis said they view the operation through the lens of their own military experience. Some said they were troubled to recognize weapons used by agents that were similar to those used overseas. Many of them said their sense of patriotism drove them to protest. Patriotism. A patriot to what? The illegal invasion of America? The lowering of wages? The driving down of wages for working Americans? The social burden, the tax burden on the American taxpayer and American citizen by criminal alien invaders? You're a patriot in supporting that? No. I can't speak for all veterans, but a lot of us feel that we protect America once, we'll protect again. Well, obviously, you didn't protect America before. You're not protecting America now. If you think that's protecting America, allowing criminal aliens to invade our country, bifurcate our society, colonize our country, right in our midst, do you think that's patriotic? It's not. Wow. These guys are drawing weapons on observers who are in their cars and driving around like they're in Sicaro, said Chris Foreman, Army veteran, referring to 2015 Hollywood film. No. We've seen the behavior of these people stopping their vehicles in the street, jumping on top of immigration vehicles, interfering, touching immigration officers. These people are the ones acting like it's Sicaro, not the law enforcement. I believe in the institutions. I want them to work right, and they're eroding institutions. They're not eroding anything. It's people like you who pretend to support this country. Sarah Teague, a veteran who is in the Army Reserves for 23 years, said that she'd been haunted by witnessing military-style coordination by the federal agents in Minneapolis, her home state, in Minnesota. She said she recognized tactics she saw during her time in Afghanistan and Kuwait, including the way the heavily armed agents would go about searching a house. Seeing the same practice felt like something of a betrayal. I'm sorry. So, clearing a room by law enforcement, which the Los Angeles Police Department has done for decades, which the Chicago Police Department has done, which New York's done, clearing a room in a house where illegals are at, people who have no business in the country, offend your sensibilities, and you call yourself a patriot and a veteran? Please, spare me. Typical New York slimes, typical leftists pretending to be patriots. Well, she's a citizen. But this 10-year-old knows where to hide at school if ICE shows up. Why would a 10-year-old hide at school? They aren't raiding 10-year-olds at schools. Madeline, like most elementary school kids, enjoys recess on the playground, a haven where friendships form, independence builds, and imaginations run free. Is that what you remember from playground and recess? I remember bullies and harassment. That's what I remember. But lately, there's been less laughing and playing there. The kids' usual chatter about TV shows, books, or what they're going to eat for lunch has been tainted by the presence of federal immigration agents in Minnesota and the fear they provoked, her mother, Nicole, told CNN. The family asked to be identified only by their first names out of concern for safety. Nicole says her 10-year-old daughter told her, we're supposed to go hide, but I know I'll be scared, so I'm going to hide in my spot that I found in the playground in case ICE comes. Wow. She searched online for the safest places to live. Madeline, a Caucasian girl attending a diverse school in a suburb of Minnesota, is plagued by panic at the mere thought of a federal agent's presence and potentially losing a loved one to detainment or deportation. These people are lunatics. Madeline, who's in the Spanish immersion program at school, told her mom her Somali and Hispanic peers tried to assure safety at school. Oh, well, Madeline, you're white. You'll be okay. Where are the stories about Lake and Riley? Where are the stories about the woman in Maryland murdered by illegal immigrants, raped and murdered, or in Hartford, Maryland? Where are the victims of the carnage caused by these criminal aliens? No, we're going to create fake stories about school children and terrify the school children. Unbelievable. The media is such scumbags. If they covered those stories and these stories, then you could say they're objective, but they're not objective. Knee replacement. Sorry to hear that, Joe. Church bells are banned in South Africa. I didn't know that. That's news to me. Hey, Meerkat, what's up? Thanks for watching the news, folks. Appreciate y'all being here. Didn't quite hit 500 today. But we are at 480. What was the peak? The peak was 503. Okay, we hit 500. Okay, don't forget to put New York into the mix. People are being woken up at 5 a.m. to call for prayer now, and they're fuming. Well, I would just go sabotage those loudspeakers. Make them keep replacing them. No, I'm not advocating anybody do that. Europe is realizing the Muslim Brotherhood has been silently captured. The Ottoman Empire lost. The Ottoman Empire was lost in 1914. Or 1918, excuse me. Some political figure named Epstein file will celebrate being named and nothing more will happen. Okay. Didn't see it in the chat history, but what's the video headline about? Well, where were you at, Jay Used? We spent the first 10 minutes talking about it. I don't understand how people pop in a program 40 minutes into the program like, hey, what's the topic? Okay, this is a news program. It's not a one headline show. It's not the only topic. I still don't understand that. People come in here all the time and, what's this got to do with the subject? It's a news program. It needs a title for the day. It needs a lead-in. It's given a title, and it's a story we cover. One day it's Olympics, one day it's Iran, one day it's Trump, one day it's this, one day it's that. It was discussed at the beginning of the news. It isn't always at the beginning of the news, but it is the thing we highlight. We talked about this extensively at the beginning of the news program. This is a news program. Do you turn on SABC and watch the news and go, okay, wait a second. How come we're not talking about this? No, they run through a news program. South Africa's a sponsor shop. That's good. Daughter unemployed for 2 years, but she has family support, so she doesn't qualify for grant, and I pay oodles of tax. Yep, twinkle toes. ANC rats running to the DA. No wonder the DA is effed up, says Power Technical. We have 44% unemployment rate and 69% underused, so I think it's more than 1 million. Yep, there you go. Rudolph says they're mining all around. His problem is that most of them are from neighboring countries. Yep. 370 rand for 1 million people. No wonder there's no money. Taxpayers being burdened evermore. Yep. That's 370 billion rand a month. 4 billion rand a year. Gold and Googleetto. Welcome, South Africa. Politicians are useless. Water power is optional. Criminals have more rights than citizens. Potholes have some tar around it. And traffic laws and signs are just suggestions, says James. True. In Benoni, you can hear the Zamazana sending out explosions. I don't doubt that. No one can live off 370 rand. It's a joke. But remember, After they had that, the first year when he did State of the Nation address, Cyril Ramaphosa said, with their Sasa grants, people have started businesses. Started businesses? There's not even enough money to buy food to survive off of. I want to know why Kleinman and Hermanus people were sent out of a council meeting. Of course, the vote was in DA councilors' favor. Policing, removing, outing. Why? Because they can. Pigs can fly. That's why. And it's not in the news. Not in the news. I hear Villain Petzer covered it, but it's not in the news. Now, that girl didn't even look like the suspect. Someone probably targeted her, and it piles on from there. Social media. Okay, you've already put this in here, so you're going to be warned now. Do not put your comments in here repeatedly. Pigs can fly. You're going to get a timeout. Remove. Okay, your text has been removed. It's not appropriate. Yes, I remember Reinhardt, but it wasn't true. It's a joke. And if he had money to start a business, then he didn't need the $350 in the first place. I've been a DA member since 2010. I'm so disappointed in what they've become, lost their values, integrity, just became another political snapping turtle. Well, they've been that, Leone, they've been that for at least the entire tenure that John Steenhuisen's been the leader, and quite frankly, since Musi Maimani became leader. When Helen left the stage, the party died. Yeah, MK and Tears said they've lost our vote. Yep. Which new song? The Who's in Charge? Hewlett's announced liquidation of VW, possible client. Yep. Another thousands more jobs gone. The Russians are gathering. Unemployment's all-time high, I agree. Oh, Fleshman said could have done with a warning. You talking about the Viceroy? Mealy boy. That's a good one. I haven't heard that. All bow down. The Viceroy of Greenland. Pigs can fly. So deployment of the military is seriously not a requirement. What we need is SWAT teams run by each province. Well, what you need is competent, equipped, trained, well-paid law enforcement that's responsive, and a criminal justice system that actually prosecutes criminals and holds them to account for their crimes. That's what you need, but you don't have that in South Africa. How do you think the Army will arrive in the Cape Flats? On foot, Lamborghini. On foot. We're going to make 370 more. Yeah, they're probably going to raise it to 500. That's been my expectation for a long time. Probably going to raise it to 500. Yep. Yeah, they'll arrive by foot, the Army. Mandy says, blessings for a wonderful future. Opa Pete. What happened with Opa Pete? I don't see any Opa Pete here. God, these tags. You know, we never had these tag problems in clothing 30 years ago before these idiots put all these legal requirements. They stick these ridiculously long tags in here. They're painfully uncomfortable, scratch your skin. Where's Opa Pete at? I don't see any Opa Pete here. What are you guys congratulating him for? Oh, you're in Greensboro. Oh, welcome to North Carolina. Welcome to America. Opa Pete. Wow. That's cool. Come on and do an interview. Speaking of which, let me just look at something else here. Okay. I'm setting up another interview now, and two more interviews. Yaku Joubert says, hey, hope you're doing well. I'm okay, thanks. I'm just trying to set up two more interviews for this week. Yeah, they put the military in the Cape Flats 25 years ago. It didn't work. It's not going to work now. Son is sensory percept had cut all the tags as clothing. Yeah, but then you get the stitching is down there. It's really annoying. Drives me nuts. I'm not sensory. What is that? Sensory sensitive. I'm not, but having a tag scratch to the back of your neck or on your shoulder is really annoying. Yes, putting military on the streets is a dangerous thing. I already said this. Remember Collins Kosa? Everyone's forgotten Collins Kosa. He was beaten to death by the military and no consequences. Yeah, like Rain puts, won't they just steal the drugs, guns, and money they find? Yeah. 40% unemployment, 8% of those people do have skills to make them employable. That's true. You got a real problem, Lamborghini. That's a fair statement. Well, MK says, who will ever forget Cyril and my fellow South Africans? Well, whoever forgets Cyril and our 58 million, or what do you say, 50 million, our 50 million citizens. Yeah. No, it's not martial law, sorry. And it's, Corey, and it's allowed under the Constitution. South African Constitution allows the military to be deployed in support of the police for domestic operations. It's not martial law. Martial law would include restrictions on your movement. It would include curfews and many other things, and restrictions on financial transactions. A lot happens. Yes, no, Marissa, I reported that yesterday when it happened. Robert Duvall passed away at the age of 95. Yep. Incredible actor. Godfather, Jack Reacher, Tender Mercies, so many things. Only a one-time Academy Award winner, which was pretty lame. He should have won 3 or 4 of them easily. Yep. Foolhardy move, seeing as our army is apparently Iran's B team. Generals swearing fealty. Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. No, this is a disaster. You guys should watch Biz News and watch my interview on there. I said exactly that. I said this is a foolish move. It's not gonna. We're gonna have another Collins Costa situation. Someone's gonna be murdered. Yep. Police bust where they found military-grade weapons. Our army is probably outgunned. Could be. Could be. If I have time later today, I'll probably do the Colonel's mailbag just to read some emails. So my prepared videos are not getting much attention, so I had to figure something out here. The one about India has only got 7,000. Is it still 7,000? 7,900 views. Just dropping by rocks. It was getting, yeah, it's a few hundred views per hour. Now it got 3 this hour. Well, it's been 3 minutes, so, but still, it's not impressive. I'm not doing very well with my videos, so the algorithm doesn't like me right now. It's funny how, those who say they know all about YouTube's metrics and how it works and how you get views on channels say that, well, it's because you have to be consistent. You have to have the same format. Well, I am consistent. I have the same format, and with that same format, same consistency, I spike to 4 million views per month. And then with the same consistency, the same approach to things, it drops to 1.5 million. These people think they know what they're talking about YouTube. They don't. They're talking out their butt. YouTube's algorithm plays nice, and sometimes it doesn't play nice. Yep. Yaku says, I saw your Is It Worth the Effort short and just want to say thank you for it. Well, the point of that video was I was a little frustrated. God bless it, this tag is really pissing me off. There were some things happened that day that kind of irritated me. I did that in the middle of the night, sitting on the couch. But at the end of it, what I said is that if just one person has helped, then it's worth it, So that was the message I was trying to get across. But thank you for seeing that. Jack Reacher. I've not read any of the Jack Reacher books. I've seen 2 of the movies. Keep hear how Sasa are cutting the older person's grants. They cut mine by almost 300. I've forgotten that. Karen, how do they cut your by 300? Do you only get 70 Rand now? I don't understand. Piss him off, back Colonel. Piss who off, Bonnie? Fetterman said that if only an ID is required to vote, then most Dems will come on board. Time, Jonathan Knuckles nukes the filibuster. I don't understand, Alan, what you're saying. Most Democrats oppose voter ID. So what do you mean if it's voter ID, they'll come back on board? Doesn't make any sense. Popular on YouTube, deleted his message, says he loves my videos. Why'd you do that? Why did you delete your message? Andreas Moore says, thanks to Hope you give us. You're very welcome. Oh, it's not the DA has a problem with Russia. It's News 24 carrying the story. Yaku wants to take me out for crabs. Well, that's pricey, man. It's going to cost you at least $100 to buy me a dozen crabs. I'm just telling you that now so you know. They're not cheap. They're not cheap. Now we're waiting to see what this other going to do with the U.S. ambassador. Popular said, keep it up all the way from South. Thank you, Popular on YouTube. I'm glad to hear you're popular on YouTube. Charles, phone won't charge. Might be the battery, might be the charger. Sometimes the chargers go on those things. So let me see. Are we at 100%? Yeah, I'm at 100%. Okay, cool. It's amazing that this charger that I got with the phone like 6 years ago still works. See, not only does it work, but the damn cord got frayed at the end, and so I thought it wouldn't charge as well, but it still charges. I bought a couple backup chargers. They seem to work, but they're not as good. You're worth it. Well, thank you for that. Employment decreased due to them employing casual labor. Pretty up holiday. Yeah, there you go. He just said that on Maria Bartolomola's show. I don't know what he means by it, though. Thelma says, thanks. You're very welcome. Take your top of the seamstress, ask them to remove the tag. It will take 5 minutes. You must live in South Africa where there are seamstresses. Where am I supposed to find a seamstress in America? At Target? At Walmart? We don't have that stuff anymore. We don't have cobblers. We don't have independent butchers. We don't have any of that stuff anymore. That's all gone. That's gone the way of the donkey and the cart. It's not a stupid question, James. Most modern planes have charging ports for USB, but they're standard USB. They're the standard ones. So if you've got a USB-C, one of these tiny little things, you're screwed unless you're clever and you buy one of these adapters, and then you put that adapter on there, and then you have the proper one. And so that's what most of them have. Most planes have outlets for that. Okay. Also, many planes today, like the Airbus A319, doesn't have in-seat entertainment. It's all Wi-Fi. So the only way you can watch it is if you've got earpiece. And most phones don't have R35 jacks anymore. They don't. So there's no place to plug in a earpiece here. A traditional earpiece, you can't plug one. So you got to have a Bluetooth earpiece in order to watch the entertainment on the flight. So Bluetooth to the phone, and then Wi-Fi on the plane, like American. I came back from... When I went to Texas, the plane I was on was larger, and it had the seat back entertainment, and I could plug in my ear jack into. I have with my I have Beats, little tiny Beats, and I could plug the Beats into the jack and listen. But coming back, there was no place to plug it in because there was no system. So I had to use my Bluetooth, which was in my bag. I had to get up during the flight, wait 20 minutes in the flight, get up, pull this out, and plug it in. That's how I was able to listen to the TV. But the live stuff dropped. I was watching Olympics and it just quit. Didn't work. Again, older person's grant. Thank you, Karen. Which was when I earned too much interest, which barely even covers a third of my rent. Well, this is just bullshit. These people take money from poor people. Comment on X saying that they better behave or else. Well, that's the threat. So typical threats. Hendrick, thank you for your subscription. 23.20 and 23 for 75-year-olds. That's a joke. That's barely $100 a month. Well, I do remove labels. I rip them out half the time. What's going on? I just got another message here. Not from that. Oh, I want money. Patches says, no, you can't charge your cell on a phone. Yes. Yes, you can. Yes, you can, Patches. It's just very slow, but it does charge. It does charge. Now, I know what you're talking about, man. You can charge. You've been able to do that for 15 years on many planes, if not longer. Of course you can charge your plane. Yep. Of course you can. It's just very slow. So the best bet on a plane, especially a 17-hour flight from South Africa, is have a power bank you carry on with you and use that to recharge your phone at some point. One interview yesterday let me know it was unsuccessful. I asked what the reason. They cannot give me a reason, but the phone for interview is just a formality. Yep, BE. You're right, Debbie. That's what it is. What was the basic for a bartender again in USA per hour? What do you mean basic? What do you mean pay, Corey? Depends. It depends. Bartenders get tips, so they get paid less. Average wage per hour for a bartender in average salary for bartender is $16 an hour in Pennsylvania. and $150 in tips per day. Here it's $13.50 to $16 per hour, some a little bit higher, some a little bit lower. But the earnings often exceed $25, $30 based on tips, which average $150 a day. So, so they get paid a little bit less because they can make money on tips if you do a good job. So, yeah, we pay, tips. Tips are not taxed in America now thanks to Trump. So it works out really well. So, I mean, that's a really good deal. If you're a bartender or a waitress and you're making a lot of money on tips, then all of you get taxed. My income all gets taxed. So it must be nice for them. You're welcome, Cinderella. Book my power bank and undercarriage. What is an undercarriage? You talking about under the seat? No, you can't put your power bank in your check bag. Oh, no. You can't. No power banks can go. Your power banks have to be carried on your person. You can't put them in your check bag. Do not do that. No. You must take it in a carry-on. Do not put your power banks in check bag. Your bag will be pulled off the flight, and you won't have it. Nope. Don't rip the labels out. Yeah, it can cause damage, but it's annoying wearing it. Why are these bastards? And they put them everywhere. They put them up here in the neck. They put them in the shoulder. They put them in the middle of the shirt and the side. They put them about. So annoying. Yep. So let's see how we're doing on the Olympics now, folks. So we're checking on the Olympics, all right? Excuse me. Well, we still have a little bit of audience. Olympic schedule. Here we go. Let's see what we got today. All right. So in the biathlon, France took gold, not Norway. Wow, that's a surprise. Norway got silver and Sweden got bronze. Men's relay final. Norway's up to 30 medals now. USA got a medal today. We're up to 20, and Italy's at 24. We're catching up to the Italians finally. Yep. Bobsled two-man heat is at 1 p.m. local and 3 p.m. for the final heat. And then curling. China beat the United States in the men's. That sucks. Okay, what else we got here? Show more results. Figures, women's singles qualifiers are today. The freestyle skiing, big air. And the final run is at 2:17 this afternoon. Ice hockey. Czechia is beating Denmark 3-2. Okay. And then Sweden plays Latvia at 3 o'clock. Italy lost to Switzerland 3-0. And Germany beat France 5-1. Nordic combined, another medal for Norway. Wow, gold in the individual 10-kilometer final cross country. Austria got silver and Finland got bronze. In the Nordic combined, only one of the three on this managed to get to the medal, and that was Lamperter, who came in second in the combined in the final jump, but in the medal wound up with the silver, so held his place. The other two dropped off. In speed skating, Italy beat the United States. That's where he got her silver medal. So by 4 seconds, the men's pursuit, Italy beat the U.S. Italy gets a gold there. Wow. And women's speed skating, a semifinal, Canada beat the United States. So I guess we compete for the bronze there against Japan, who barely lost to the Netherlands. But our time was worse than any of the 4 teams competing in the semifinal. So not a good sign for the U.S. It'll be tough to get a medal there now. Men's speed skating, the United States pursuit semifinal. U.S. beat China by 8 seconds. That's impressive. And then Italy beat the Netherlands they beat the Netherlands. That's a shocker. So the final will be the United States versus Italy. That'll be exciting. Wow, that's pretty cool. So exciting stuff there. Wow. But the medal count now. Oh, let's take a look at the total medals. Come on. 30 medals for Norway, 13 gold, followed by Italy with 9. USA and Netherlands both have 6 gold. That's the top gold medal winners. Silver, the United States has 9. They're the top silver medalists. Austria and Norway with 8. In bronze, Italy has the most bronze medals, 11. Norway has 9 now. So Norway with 30 medals, Italy with 24, the USA with 20, followed by the Netherlands with 13, Austria with 16, France with 16, Sweden with 12, Switzerland with 10, Germany with 17, Japan with 19, but a lot of bronze. They have 10 bronze medals. Half their medals are bronze. Canada with 12, Australia with 5 medals, Great Britain with 3, all gold, Czechia with 4, Slovenia with 4, South Korea 6, Brazil with the 1, a gold medal, Kazakhstan 1, a gold medal, China 6 medals, 3 silver and 3 bronze. Eileen Gu, the traitor to America, won a silver medal for the Chinese Communist. Poland with 4 medals, Latvia with 2, New Zealand with 2, Georgia with 1, Finland with 4, all bronze, Bulgaria with 2, both bronze, and Belgium with 1 medal. So 26 countries have medal. Yep, so far in the Olympics. Pretty exciting stuff. Let me go take a look at the coverage of that very quickly. What's on now? Peacock TV. Let's go to Peacock TV, Olympics. Okay, snowboarding and more. That's live right now. This is actually happening as we speak.
Sir Kyle is down.
When some
I don't need an advert. Thank you very much. All right, Trump administration is playing. Okay, I've already been there. Okay. Jack Kokomore, excuse me. I'm fine, thank you. Remember this when someone mentioned bartenders. A friend of mine started as a bartender in a restaurant in London. Now he's general manager of a chain making £120,000. That's a lot. Looks like the men's 4 by 7.5 kilometer relay. Didn't they already finish this already? This must be the final now.
This is his very
Big
first
crowds,
Olympics,
folks.
obviously.
Wow.
At a
Massive crowds there for this event. This is pretty wild.
action that Clementon has seen.
At 20 years of age, his World Cup best is a 34th.
France.
This is a big moment for him.
This is where they stop, pull out the rifle. I love this stuff. This is a great sport.
At the Olympic Games, could be the most
shots.
decorated French Olympian by the end of these games.
He hit the first target.
Maillet.
Missed the second
Oh,
target.
there's a miss.
Hit the third target. Hit the fourth target.
And again, they can load a spare with the miss. They've got
And hit
3
the fifth
spares, and
target.
there he goes.
Clement.
So he got 4 out of 5, the French guy. Now they're all showing up: the Swede, the Finn, the Norwegian, the German, and the Swiss. The Finn got 3 out of 5. The French guy, he got all 5. He shot a second shot. I guess you get an alibi round. He got all 5. The Norwegian got all 5. And off they go. That's a tough sport, man. You carry that rifle. It's a military sport there. If you call 20 years new, then yes, there are USB sockets on our national flights, USB-C on the Delta United as well as Power. I haven't found the C on Delta or United flights. They weren't on the flights when I last flew them. Only the traditional USB 2. So I think I've already seen these results. Let me see. 4 by 7. Let me see. Go back to men's. Yeah, that's the one. The men's relay. Yeah, France, Norway, and Sweden. So we already got. So this is already over. This isn't even live. God bless it. This tag is driving me nuts. Ugh. They can't make it something soft, you know. It's got to be something hard, and it irritates the piss out of you. USA missed 3 out of 5 shots. And they're shooting again. USA's got 4 out of 5 now. Wow, I love how they update this. It's like real live. This must be pretty credible. Like Poland got all 5 shots. USA managed to get all 5 shots, but lost time there. So I don't know where they were at. So the US, how did they do in this race? Let me take a look how the USA did in that race. USA came in 5th. Oh, are you serious? We missed the bronze, but by 2 minutes. No, a minute and a half. A minute and a half. USA came in 5th. That sucks. Could have medaled. So close. So close. Chuck, so much for what you're doing. This is my fellow. Love the bits, but boy, can they be a handful. Yeah. People are a handful, Trek Boar. People are just a handful the world over. It's just the way things are. I mean, I got somebody who's communicating to me from South Africa, and it's a parent, and the parent's voice sounds identical to the adult child. I can't tell the difference apart when I hear them on these recordings. And then they're sending me recordings from the adult child that's in America. They're sending me recordings themselves, and it's very conflicting as to what they want, who they are, back and forth, very confusing, and asking for help. And, then I get other people who are like, I'm not getting this, I'm not getting that. And then I say, okay, give me the name of the agent, give me the agency, give me the phone number if you want me to intervene. And then I get crickets. Well, don't complain to me if you just want to complain. I mean, my time is valuable. Okay, one of those people just responded. Cool. Sent me a voice note. Okay. Okay. So it's very frustrating to try to help people who don't want to be helped. They just want to complain. And some people just want to complain. Others want help. Others demand help. I mean, I'm getting something from someone telling me that I have to help them. What? I have to help you? Why? I'm sorry. Who appointed me king? Who made me? Who's paying me for doing this? Nobody. Why do I have to help anybody? It's crazy. Oh, Shawnee, you have no idea. I'm sure you have an idea. It's just, it's incredibly frustrating. You know, I sit here and pull teeth, you know. You've seen it in the chat sometimes when people put one statement out there and then, you know, I need much more information in order to do something. Mad Hatter, if you have a job offer, can you advise RC? How? My first question is, how are you going to tell the refugee settlement center? How are you going to resettlement center? How are you going to tell them? They don't answer emails. You don't have a phone number to call them. So how are you going to tell them? And will it speed up the process? No. No, it won't speed up the process. Having a job offer doesn't make you special. That's not direct to you, Mad Hatter. I'm just saying it doesn't speed anything up. Why would they speed things up? Again, this is not about jobs. This is not about bringing white people to this country and repopulating 100 or 230 million white people with, 2,000 white South Africans. It isn't what that's about. It's about persecution, and having a job offer or, is not going to change anything. Good for you to have a job offer. Hopefully people can hold on to it. But you're not going to, if that were the case, there would be people with skills that go and look for jobs at the outset and then come back and say, well, hey, look, I have a job in Houston working for an aerospace firm. Here's the offer letter. Can I go first? Don't take that in a sense that's directed at you, Mad Hatter. I'm just trying to make the point. I'm trying to embellish a little bit here. It doesn't make any difference. Well, Meerkat, I don't have much patience. I just have fortitude. Marissa said I'm a viceroy. I can do anything I wish. Mad Hatter says I'm not white. Just wondered. No, Mad Hatter. Let's see again, but that's why I see it specifically isn't about you then, since you're not white. My point is that because people say this program for white Afrikaners and farmers, it's not. And a lot of people early on are like, well, I have a PhD and I'm a petrochemical engineer and I should go first. No, you shouldn't. Are you being persecuted? Have you been persecuted? All right, get in the queue. Is that harsh? Well, that's the reality. If you think that's harsh, talk to the people living in the Dadaab camp in Kenya where 650,000 refugees live. Some of them applied to be refugees 12 years ago and they've been approved. And they've had expiring medicals and they've gone back 6, 7, 8, 10 times to take medicals over and over again. Yeah. Mad Hatter says, I'm super nervous. I want to leave. I got you, Mad Hatter. And most people do feel that way. You're correct. It sucks. But again, my best advice for you is don't spend your time looking at my case. You can check it out occasionally, but don't go obsessing about it. Continue your life, declutter, and just keep moving. Just keep moving. Can a refugee become a refugee support officer person? Absolutely, Shawnee. Yeah, let's just go. I'll help you with that. Okay, so let me see. We'll do Church World Service. Go to Indeed.com. Okay. I'm just verifying that I'm a real person. I'm human. I used to get a lot of fake stuff on there. Okay. Church. Church World Service. We'll put Minnesota. Minnesota. Okay, let's see if they have any jobs in Minnesota. Okay. No. They don't, Minnesota. We'll just put Church World Service. Okay. Okay. So here's some of the jobs Church World Service has that are available. Ukrainian interpreter in Wilmington, North Carolina, $15 to $25 an hour. A dentist. They're hiring a dentist for emergency dental care. $222,000 to $50,000 a year. General maintenance technician. That's the Red Cross. Okay, where's Church World? Here's Church World Service. Fundraising senior specialist. $55,000 to $69,000 a year. Interpreter, Winchester, Virginia, for Darian Pashtu. Receptionist, $45,000 a year for a part-time receptionist. A part-time receptionist making $45,000 a year in Tampa. Immigration Legal Services Advisor, Harrisburg, $60,000 to $76,000 a year. Health Liaison, Anaheim, $49,000 a year. Here you go. Manager Resettlement Support Services, Tampa, $80,000 a year. Employment Services Case Manager, Houston, $56,000 a year. Case Manager, Houston, $56,000. Resettlement Officer, Miami, $56,000. Senior Employment Assistant, Lancaster, Pennsylvania, $56,000. Program Supervisor, $76,000. That's Church World Service. Yeah, now you know why all these refugees get into it. Let's try International Rescue Committee. International Rescue Committee. Let's look for jobs from them. Okay. All right, here we go. International Rescue Committee. Glendale, Arizona. Pay not provided. Youth Program Assistant. Cash Medical Initial Resettlement Coordinator, $26 an hour. Wichita, Kansas. Senior Change Manager. $102,000 to $110,000 per year. Full-time holidays, 403, health insurance, paid time off. Wow. Administrative Supervisor, Immigration Legal Service, $70,000. Adult Education Coordinator, $26 an hour. Caseworker, $27 an hour. Survivors of Torture Caseworker, $23 an hour. Arabic Interpreter, Boise, Idaho, $20 an hour. Client Benefits Specialist, $23 an hour. Let's see, this is a Senior Officer of Health, $103,000 a year. This is just a money-making scam is what this is. These are all to make money. So that's them. That's two examples of these Lutherans. Let's see. Let's look up Lutheran. Lutheran Social Services. Lutheran. Let's try that. Lutheran Social Services. See what they've got. This is just Indeed.com. These are mostly medical programs. Operational lead, $26,000. Workforce Empowerment Facilitator. What the hell is that? $50,000 a year in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Anyway, yeah, so that's looking at some of the jobs. There's tons of them out there in this field. Imagine if these people just volunteered, how much the government can save. Yeah, imagine. Yep. Martin Williams Bernard. What did Martin Williams Bernard say? Oh, no contact. Yeah, okay. Religious persecution. Why do you guys always say prosecution? You offer Connors. It's persecution. We'll probably follow next. Let's see. They want to impose Islamic curriculum in the Western Cape. Wow. Virtual Western Cape says, I need a wife type of stuff that guys don't do, like clothing stuff and putting flowers in your room. You need a flower. It takes a certain kind of person to have a lot of patience, like our great art teachers. Yeah, James. Anyway, yeah, so I've covered that. All right, cool. Fully booked. Yeah, there's no room on my lawn for FEMA tents. It's completely full. You guys are late to the game if you want a FEMA tent on my lawn. Idaho Garden Girl, what's going on? What's going on? Some refugees showed up in Boise recently. That's pretty cool. Okay, Oh boy. Ay. Not funny, but a lot of the positions was normal admin posts and salaries very high. Yep. Those are the reasons why I left many thousand of them, but don't think they even needed a refugee program. No, Strikeout, that's because an average 82 South Africans leave South Africa every single day before the refugee program ever came along. Well, Shylock, Sharia is saying, Sharia law is saying, yeah, but that's because it's a foreign word. People say chai tea, which is comical to me because I speak Swahili. Chai comes from Arabic. It means tea. So when you say chai tea, you're saying TT. It's the same thing. What is Monster Max saying? Howdy from Texas. This is Landy. What are you drinking? Gatorade? No, this isn't Gatorade. This is iced tea. Sweet tea. Gold Peak. Welcome, Texas. Where are you at in Texas, Entertain? Did I meet you down there, or did you miss my meet and greet? I'm headed to Pittsburgh shortly, folks. Trying to work out a trip to Las Vegas and one to Florida and Virginia coming up. Yep. The Virginia one will probably be the hardest because it'll be the longest drive for me. The Pittsburgh one will be a 3-hour plus drive. And I'll spend Friday night, Saturday night there and come home on Sunday. Be meeting with the Oosthuizen family and Bruce the service dog. Looking forward to that. Chai by land, tea by sea. That's funny. Tough to park in the driveway because I keep one vehicle outside the garage because my garage is full of junk. And the other one is in the garage. And so half the driveway is blocked and the truck comes out of the driveway. You're going to get run over. Yes, we met. The one that is direction lost. Ah, okay. Thank you, Entertain. See, those usernames don't tell me anything. Ah, yes, indeed. Daughter's going for interview tomorrow. She's somewhat nervous. Legal alien, if you're talking about a refugee interview, then tell her not to be nervous. Just be honest and forthright. Explain what has happened or not happened to her, what she's been excluded from based on the behavior, and go from there. It'll work out fine. It'll work out fine. You know what I'm saying? Gonna be cake. Henny Visa, sorry for missing your 35 Rand super sticker. Wow, I didn't know we had any super chats in the stream. Have we had any? Oh, we have. We've had some. I guess I've been on here for a while. I forgot about that. Let me go back and check out all the super chats, and I don't want to discourage people from super chatting. Here we go. Come on over there. Super chats. Okay. Okay. So let me see what we got in this stream. We got 3 in this stream. We got the 20. Oh, Neil in the beginning, 20 pounds. I remember that. Thank you. Then Yaku Joubert. Okay. That one. And then Henny Vista. Okay, there were just 3. I thought there were a whole bunch. Okay, just 3. Thank you all for those super chats. Last night we got Thai baht. So in the last 24 hours, we got South African Rand, US dollars, Thai baht, and British pounds. How cool is that? Thank you very much for that. Brand Connect. I have not. Interesting. Don't need a lot of space. Great son reply in Afrikaans by Corny Mulder, but Julius was struggling to read his speech that somebody else wrote. You don't want a place with a basement. Why wouldn't you want a basement, Corey? That's the only place I can put all my boxes and my DVDs, my Blu-rays, and a lot of my stuff I brought from around the world, as well as my books. Send her videos that post. Okay, well, thank you for that, Lilian. Hopefully it helped her. Basements don't have ghosts. Only the ANC has ghost workers. That's what they have. They have ghost workers. That's what the ghost is. Anyway, next. You need to have a basement when the tornadoes hit. Yep, exactly. But we don't have tornadoes here, so it's not an issue. Not an issue here, folks. Yep. So let me check in on this. Oh, we still got this shooting going on. This is a race that's already concluded. So who's there now? Norway, France, and Sweden. So the front runners there again. They've got on the stage.
And the way this goes down is posturing. Forcing other people to shoot faster is a good strategy. Perot's out front, 3 for 3, 4 for 4. Miss for Leshosta Christensen.
French guy hit all 5.
For France.
Wow, that's incredible.
And a miss for Sweden.
And Norway missed too.
Perot and France have taken command here after one shooting stage of the men's
Norway
relay.
got
Now
it.
Norway's out.
These are the top 3 finishers right here.
A little bit of gap. It's going to be
Sweden's got to
about
make this
10
last
to 12
target.
seconds.
They missed it.
But
Two shots.
Christensen is not as fast as...
Finally got it. Andres Muller, thank you for the 50 Rand super chat. Climate change. Yeah, the climate does change. It was freezing a couple days ago. Now it's warmer. 43 degrees today. Yep, and that's the order they finished in. France, Norway, and Sweden for the medals. Wow, watching these guys hold these rifles. Just amazing. After skiing, cross country, out of breath, all this way. This is a German guy shooting. He's missed twice. He rushed it. Now he's got to reload. He's taking his time. Oh, he's got a jam there. The round didn't go in properly. That cost him about 8 seconds. He missed the 3rd shot. Oh my goodness. Here's the 4th shot. This is actually his 8th shot. He got it finally. That cost him at least 30 seconds. And he missed 3 rounds. I don't know if there's a penalty for that. Wow. It's amazing. Wow, the crowd is huge, man. Huge. Anyway, popular events in Europe. Yeah, Americans have never done particularly well. Bill Koch won one in the biathlon back in the 1976 Olympics in Innsbruck. He got a silver medal. They're beating a South African equivalent of the rifle event. They don't do that. You don't have enough snow that you could even participate in this event. You have to have places to cross country ski, and then yeah. But it's a military related event. It's people come so. Oh, now they're the different target. Or are we just showing it from a different angle? But the French guy's just so clinical. He hit all 5 and boom. Yeah, that's just showing it again. The French were really chaffed that he got that, so. Wow. I think it's one of the better sports. I really enjoy it. This cross country where they shoot's amazing. So the 4th leg in France, Norway, and Sweden. That's how they finished. The Americans were not in 5th here, but they wound up in 5th. They closed ground on them. Americans closed the gap. His and hers. Wasn't me? I might have been. Scooby-Doo. Ghoster, always old man Jenkins in a rubber mask. That's funny. That's funny. And it's snowing in the relay. It was snowing there in Cortina. That's awesome. They go to commercial break. Veroshka to sell DVD and Blu-ray collection of 300. You'd blanch. You see how many I have. Remember, I spent many years in remote locations, and the only entertainment I had was DVDs and Blu-rays. And the Blu-rays came along, so mostly DVDs, but I got a lot of Blu-rays too. Well, where we're staying while waiting for our flights, the electric fence made funny sparks. My husband went out to sort out, and I told him I can't wait not to live in a jail. Oh, I got you. I got you, Mixie. So you've already given up your place. You're waiting for flights. I assume that you've got an approval letter and you've been told when your flights are. So that's what you're waiting for. I hope you haven't given up your place. You're just living somewhere waiting for flights. You're welcome, Debbie, for the news. My pleasure. Just attacked more drug boats, according to Fox News. Did we? Let's go take a look. Trump administration strikes 3 more alleged drug boats in the Pacific and Caribbean. Yep, NBC News. 11 men killed. 3 drug boats. But they keep coming, man. They just keep coming. Wow, this is pretty hectic stuff here. Trump administration strikes 3 more alleged drug boats in the Pacific and Caribbean. Strikes killed 11 people, according to Southern Command. That's from the X account. Military launched strikes on 3 alleged drug smuggling boats in the Eastern Pacific. Intelligence confirmed vessels are transiting along known narco-trafficking routes or engaged in narco-trafficking operations. Wow. That's from yesterday. Intelligence confirmed the vessels were transiting along known narco-trafficking routes engaged in narco-trafficking operations. The strikes bring the death toll from the U.S. campaign, which began in September, to at least 135 people killed, with several more survivors of the strikes presumed dead. Last fall, the Trump administration produced a classified legal opinion that justified lethal strikes against a secret list of at least 24 cartels and suspected drug traffickers, classifying them as enemy combatants. Wow. Well, it is a war, I suppose. We were staying while waiting for our flight. Selector fence made funny. Okay, I already got that. Okay. UK party is going to make huge waves. Might just save the UK. I don't know. UK doesn't want to be saved. LPs, CDs, DVDs, and guitars. Well, you can take a guitar with you. One narco sub being blown out of the water. No, I think there was one that was attacked. Oh. Anyway, there you have it. So 20 medals. Let's see if we got any more. It's early evening now, so there shouldn't be many medals left to award today, if any. You know, you have to sign up for the Olympic site if you want to see the results on there. It's so ridiculous. I mean, I am signed up for it, but it's ridiculous. So today is the 17th. The third period, Chechnya is still leading Denmark 3-2. Women's pursuit, Canada got the gold. Netherlands came in second, Japan third. Okay, what else we got here? That's it. That's the only medal event for today. The medal events, there's nothing more. Interesting. Tomorrow, doesn't look like there's a whole lot on tomorrow either. Huh. I think Monday's the final for the women's. Is that when it is? Women's gold medal game. It is on 19 February. Yep. 1:10 p.m. Oh, it's not Monday. It is Thursday. Why did they say Monday? I said it was Thursday originally. So it's at 1 o'clock on Thursday. I'll be covering that. Well, I'll be watching it. I shouldn't say I'll be covering it. I'll be watching it. I don't do the hockey. But yeah, wow, I'd love to do it. So that's Thursday, 1 p.m. Wow. So USA plays Canada. This is going to be huge. That's going to be a big audience here in the U.S., even though it's during working hours. It's going to be huge. Yeah. So when's the men's? That's men's final will be on the 22nd. Okay. Cool. So it is Thursday, which is what I originally thought. That's confusing stuff reported online. December 2nd approval, February 16th for tentative travel arrangements. Today's the 17th, Angela. Oh, you received the email for tentative. Okay. Good evening, Chris. I'm a little concerned about email system message I received stating that emails I sent RC have been deleted after 6 days not being read. Any thoughts? Well, Delia, yeah, I've already covered this story multiple times in the past 2 weeks. Several people have told me, what emails are you sending them? Are you sending them something they asked for? If you're sending them things that they're unsolicited, I've told you don't send emails. They're not going to read them. F6, 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 delete, delete, delete. They don't have time to read these emails. Now, if it's something that they demanded from you, which has happened to people recently, then I don't know what to tell you. Stuff they asked for. Yeah, see, I don't know what to tell you on that. You're not the only one. A lot of people. So I don't know what's going on with that. That's weird. Yep. You're like the 15th or 20th person that's told me that's happened. All you can do is, well, yeah, they upload it. Yeah, exactly. So I don't know why you're getting messages telling you to send emails. Maybe you're not sending to the right people. Maybe it's not going to them. But if you're getting it deleted, that sounds like it's going to them. Yeah, Delia, they will tell you to upload it. But People have told me they've uploaded documents and then they get a deleted message. So I don't know what's going on there. It's really weird. Can't send a super chat, but sending a Yankee dime your way. Well, you can do PayPal. What was Utopi bragging about? Can I be the first OG to tell you I'm no longer 7 hours ahead of you, but 3 hours behind you in time now? Oh, well, you didn't tell me you were in the States. Now you tell me. You're an OG, but you've only been a member for a short period of time. OGs date back to 2020, 2021. I guess you came a member later on. 3 hours behind me. Well, then you're in California, Oregon, or Seattle. Garrett, I talked about the hockey game shooting. Yes, I did. And I tried to cover the transgender. So let me see if I can find a transgender story on that, because the New York Post is not working. When I try to bring it up, it doesn't want to work. It acts like a turd. So where's my news at? There it is. Let's go to that. Okay. MAGA hits out at transgender. Most of them aren't reporting the person was transgender. Paul Tuckett shooter's gender identity tied to past family dispute, court records show. A suspect in a Paul Tuckett shooting that left 2 people dead, not 3 others injured, had a history of family disputes, some involving conflict over gender identity. Robert Dorgan is accused of opening fire, killing at least 2 family members, injuring 3 others. It's a family dispute. In a late-night news conference, Paul Tuckett Police Chief Tina Goncalves in Rhode Island it said Dorgan also went by the name Roberta. Court documents show his gender identity played a role in multiple family disputes. In 2020, he went to North Province Police Department, reported that he had recently undergone gender reassignment surgery and that his father-in-law wanted him out of their home because of it. Dorgan told police that his father-in-law, who shares the same surname, threatened to have him murdered by an Asian street gang if he did not move out of the residence. Father-in-law was charged with intimidation, witness, and victims of crime obstruction. At the same time, Dorgan's then-wife, Rhonda Dorgan, filed for divorce on the grounds of divorce. She wrote, gender reassignment surgery, narcissistic and personality disorder traits. That was crossed out and replaced with irreconcilable differences. Divorce was finalized in 2021. At the time, Dorgan lived in Jacksonville, Florida. He was a truck driver. In 2020, he accused his mother of assaulting him and acting violent. This guy's just a wacko. Case against his mother is dismissed. Make America Great and supporters have said on X that the identified suspect in Pawtucket, Rhode Island hockey arena shooter Robert Dorgan, or Roberto Esposito, was a supporter of former GOP Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene and Thomas Massey. Seriously? Oh my goodness. So here's Roberta here. This is the transgender. I don't even know if it's a real transgender. If the person's just play acting, you can't tell. Guy's facial hair and breast. Oh boy. Unbelievable. This stuff is just wackadoodle crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff. Rhode Island trans shooter Robert Dorgan's hockey player's son was on the ice when the attack occurred. Hockey player's son of trans killer Robert Dorgan was on the ice when his dad opened fire on a Rhode Island hockey game, murdering the boy's mother and brother as he skated toward them. Colin Dorgan, team captain and standout defenseman for Blackstone Valley School's hockey team, can be seen as number 17 jersey skating backwards at center ice when the deadly shooting started. After the first few cracks of gunfire, the high school senior momentarily whips his head around toward the source of sound just feet away from where he was on the ice. He then immediately begins skating toward the rink exit with a number of other players fleeing for their lives. In the stands, his father, also identified as Roberto Esposito, had just murdered his brother and the dad's ex-wife before fatally turning a gun on himself. 3 other people were critically wounded in the attack during the Sunday afternoon game, including 2 unidentified relatives and a family friend. Wow. Hockey match shooter's messy split with his wife over gender surgery. Another crazy transgender person killing people in another shooting. And they cover most of them up. They can't cover them up. There's so many of them now. Yes, the shooting was targeted. He was a family killer. He killed his family. Yeah, we have to stop coddling these people and the ideology that created them. Absolutely. Calling them out for the mental illness that they have. Delia says, thanks, guys. You're so very helpful. Okay, you're welcome. What did Daisy say? Use Adobe to compress your file. What's going on? You emailed us, that was the request. Well, you got to do what they say, but it's a bulk email they send it, tell people they must upload required documents, portal not send documents email, they simulate. Okay, well, yeah, okay. Janine, no one's complaining they can't get to my case. And I don't really pay much attention to it. Sorry. Never heard about that. What are you talking about, Swamped Out? Never heard that story. Never heard that story. PDF Gear is not from Adobe, is it? It's a free, feature-rich editor. Some people say it's PDF Gear editor software is a competitive field with big names like Adobe. To set the PDF Gear apart, as newcomer, we decided to make a completely free PDF editor. It's a strategic decision, expanding our user base quickly and gathering ingenious feedback. In the future, most features will remain free, but there will be a fee for some advanced options. Paid options may include AI-driven tools, cloud computing, and special PDF conversion features. How does it sustain its operations without charging? We don't generate income through any hidden means. We do not misuse or sell user data. We do not display ads. Here's how we keep operations running. We have security investment to cover operational costs, including team expenses, technology. Also experiencing and optimizing technology. Our development prioritizes creating a lightweight product that addresses the core needs of PDF tasks. Focusing on core functionalities enables us to keep a small but efficient development team. Absolutely safe to use. No leading antivirus software support any issues with PDF Gear. Okay. That's from April 2024. And I've just downloaded. We'll see. All right. Just want to mention that I was not placed with my daughter. She is 2,000 miles from us placed. Did you ask to be placed with your daughter, Utopi? Was your case linked? Shylock says it's an excellent PDF suite. All right, Delia is doing it right now. If you add VS Code and Python on your PC, you can automate and pretty much do extraordinary things for free. VS Code and Python. No, I don't have them. Yeah, I'm falling behind on this stuff. Yeah, Hillary Clinton's already testified. I don't know about Bill. Yeah, you can do PDF scanner on your phone. Some of them are very good, some of those apps. Interview yesterday, my case still hasn't been approved. Oh, my goodness. What's briefly saying now? Excuse me. What's briefly saying now? they have a search button on here? Yeah, let's go for refugee. Okay. What's this? Americans. South African woman in America shared a message she received from someone refusing to help South African refugees. That's Bianca van Wyk. Seriously? Okay, I'm confused. We have to look at this now. I'm going to read this story. This is crazy. So, a South African woman in America shared a message she received from someone refusing to help South Africans. She explained that many African refugees arrived in the U.S. expecting to be prioritized but are now struggling. South Africans debated whether refugees were misled by people who promised a better life. No one promised you a better life. People promised you safety. A woman sitting on the left and taking a selfie on the right, Bianca says. That looks like Bianca van Wyk. Is that not her? South African refugee program in America isn't what people expected. TikTok user shared her feelings on February 14th, stating the refugees' reality does not meet expectations. Discussed interview she watched about African refugees struggling in the U.S. The journalist spoke to 10 refugees who arrived expecting a better life, end up spending weeks in motels in unsafe areas. Resettlement agencies are supposed to help them apply for jobs and get temporary benefits. Neighbors are stepping in because some refugees can't get a hold of their agencies. She then shared her message from a woman living in America. The woman asked if she was a bad person for using to help South Africans. She said the requests never end, especially on social media where people try to make others feel guilty. The woman explained it's a matter of principle. She won't support anything that goes along with the current administration's actions. She'd rather help Americans or legitimate asylum seekers. She also pointed out these South African refugees likely be lifelong Trump supporters. So, Bianca explained that many refugees weren't properly advised before leaving. They listened to Trump fans who promised everything would be wonderful. They thought they would be prioritized. Who did they listen to? What Trump fans? Bianca made clear she understands why some Americans are frustrated. These refugees are being let in while refugees from war-torn countries are being turned away. Well, so you don't have to be from a war-torn country. This is just ridiculous. Wow. Look, this is not a real publication, briefly. South Africa. They also lie. They've relied on several stories saying they attempted to contact me and I didn't respond. They never contacted me. They have my contact. I've written to Narissa Naidu and I've also written to Megan Funderhaven. No. They did include my response in one story, but they're just propagandists. Yep. Yeah. Swamp says bad idea. What's a bad idea? Can I arrive at U.S. border as an asylum seeker and then apply? No. No, you can't. No, you can't. You also can't come to the border as an asylum seeker. You'll put up in detention, which is what the law says. Instead of being released into our country with 10 million criminals who came into this country by the Biden regime, those who seek asylum who are not currently legally in the country, if they arrive at a port, are put in detention until a judge can hear their case. There's a South African sitting in a Georgia detention facility since August, September, October, November, December, January, February. 7 months he's been in jail, in detention, because he thought he was clever and could avoid the rules. Nope, you must apply for refugee program where you're eligible, which would be in South Africa. Visual Studio Code. You install Python desperately. What does that mean? You mean separately, not desperately? It's not strange that good stories are not reported on. It's all part of the propaganda push. It's all part of the lies. I mean, Ronald Mullen actually had the audacity, and CNN is not a legitimate news organization. I'm sorry, you can't take them seriously. You can't take them seriously. Donnie O'Donnell set Ronald Lamola up, and Lamola's so stupid he walked right into it eagerly. So, talk about white supremacy. So Lamola said that the refugee program is a white supremacy program because it's only for white Afrikaners. Well, he's a liar. We have the proof. No retraction from the government, no apologies, no media coverage of it. It all gets buried. This is probably one of the reasons why my channel is seeing fewer and fewer views. I suspect there's probably somebody that's tied to Google that's intentionally suppressing new people finding my channel because I'm telling the truth here. Also, I don't know what what that lunatic is saying, Bianca, what she's saying about people telling people it's going to be golden. I never told people that. Go back to watch my videos from the very beginning. I said this is a very difficult process. It's not easy. It takes time. And that you get help, but you have to make it on your own. If you're coming here expecting people to give you things, then you're in the wrong boat. You have to come here and expect to work and make your own way, and you have to start all over. I have said that from the very outset, tens of thousands of times. So I don't know who she's referring to, but she's obviously not referring to me. If she's referring to me, then she's a blatant liar. Yep. Yes, I did. That's right, Vanessa. From the very beginning, I told, what did I say from the outset? This will break families up. There will be families where members want to go and others don't want to go. I've said that from the very outset. I said this is a challenge. It's difficult. It's not easy. Yep. Yep. Amanda says Gate nailed you because he's committed criminal. Well, Gate McKenzie is the same person that's renaming Graf Renette. Yep. Anyway, all right, it's time to wrap up. Yeah, this briefly is not a real outlet. They just take stuff from social media and try to create stories of it. I mean, they undermine themselves with their stupid stories too. Oh, they're running a lot of these stories now, I see. A day ago, a day ago, a day ago. But you know, it's not one story about me and the truth. They don't care about balance. They don't care about balance. They just care about propaganda. Well, music, if that's your expectation, it's too bad for you. Everything in November, waiting for approval. Well, people did everything in February. You did everything in November. They're still waiting. Who is Rabbi Goldstein? I have no idea who that is. All right, guys. That's it. I'm going to wrap it up here. All right. Cheers. Take care. Be well. Bye-bye. Oh, my goodness. Well, Swamped Out, you revealed yourself as a troll. You've been playing on the troll margins for days. You just got yourself a timeout. Cheers, everybody.